So the next component we're going to mark out is our front wings. So there are two front wings, one is top and one is bottom. So we're going to start by marking the top wing. So our first step is to mark our face side and our face edge, which we will mark a 6 on our face side and a V on our face edge. So next we need to mark our joint positions. So from our working drawing, working from left to right, working from this datum edge here across, we will take our measurements. So our first measurement, make sure this is flush here, our first measurement is 30, 100, 144 and 214. So we can square these lines around now, keeping our stock against our face, either our face side or our face edge. So mark these around, make sure that the stock is kept against the material. And you flip it over to keep it steady against the face edge. Mark the line and mark the line. So we can mark these lines around now. Make sure you're keeping stock of the tri-square against timber at all times to make sure you're getting your lines square. So one more edge to mark here, which we can flip around and mark from our face side. So now we have our joint positions marked there, all the way around. So our next step is to mark our joint detail. So the first detail we're going to mark is our positions for our wing supports, which are the two outside lines here and here. So from our working drawing we can see that from the face edge they're coming in a distance of 33mm to the centre point on these lines. So I have the marking gauge set up here already to 33mm. So from our face side here we can just put a little mark to show where our centre points will need to be. Small little line will do. So we can put a mark here and a mark here as well. So these distances are 33mm from the face edge, and we now have them marked. So our next step is to mark the joint detail for the sloped lines. If you look at the working drawing you can see there's a slope, and from our both ends here we know that it's coming in a distance of 22mm, which is also half the width of this, which is 44mm. So we need a marking gauge set up to 22mm, which we have previously done here, 22. So on the end we need to mark these lines from the face side again. So a couple of runs over the end grain, as this is slightly harder to mark, so we can draw a line in there and repeat the same process here again. So we now have both end grains marked, where our line is going to join from these lines here to our centre line here. So this is where the slope will be. So our next step now is to mark that slope. So what we will use to mark that slope is a ruler and a sharp pencil. So if we line it up, so we mark from this line here to this line here. So line your ruler up so that it'll pass through both points, and then we can draw in our line. Repeat the same process on the opposite side here as well. So we can put a little mark here to make it easier for ourselves to see. And we're joining both lines again. So we can repeat this process here again. So we'll have two sloped wings. So we have our lines marked up and mark it in. And on the opposite side again. Lining up a ruler to pass through both points. So now we have our wing marked out with our slope lines here and our centre points for the holes that need to be drilled for the wing supports. So our last thing we need to do is mark an X on all the material that will be removed. So on our face side here we'll mark an X here, or a series of X's, so we'll know what needs to be removed when the time comes to process it. And on the ends here as well, we can mark an X. And here mark an X. And along the top surface here we can mark an X as well. So that's the front wing top marked out now. This is the exact same process that needs to be repeated for the bottom wing, only there's one addition on the base, and that is the trench for the front axle supports. So we will mark that next on the next video.